How do Mike and Keys form?
And which one's Mike and who's Keys?
I'm Mike.
Yeah, I'm Keith.
Mike and
There we go.
Keys. That's how we doing it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so how it all started, we met off MySpace.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so back in the day, that's how I was selling beats.
Okay.
Like I was making money doing that, like selling beats. I was on, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's called Rock Battle.
Yeah, of course. Rock Wall, yeah. The homie.
So I was one of the top producers on there.
Okay.
So that's really how how everybody knew me, was off of that.
Right. So he was on your beat battle shit at
Yeah,
that point. Okay.
yeah.
So how did y'all actually connect after that?
So one of our homies named Gene, he knows about all the producers. He was like one of the first people we probably met that knew about like overseas producers. This has to be like 05, 06. So he would always search for like new producers in the music, and he found Keys, and he was like, yo, you gotta check this producer out. And I just hit him up on MySpace, and then we met in LA probably like a year later.
Okay.
And then kind of just
Connected by the head.
connected from there, yeah.
Yeah. How many of y'all fuck with MySpace back in the day? How many of y'all with MySpace? Got a couple oldies in here.
MySpace.
Somebody's like MySpace? What's that?
Big Tom.
Yeah, for real. Top 8 type shit. You know what I'm saying? And they extended to top 16. So
That was like the first thing where you could play your beats or your music was on MySpace. So that's how I was able to hear his music.
Right. Dope. So Rock Battle, it's funny, I had a conversation with Rock Battle literally about 2 weeks ago. And he was like, yo, I'm thinking about kind of creating like another platform like that. Because there really was, if you guys are not familiar, Rock Battle was like the first online platform for beat battles. Mm-hmm. But so many dope producers got birthed through that. You know what I'm saying?
The original BeatStars.
Yeah, absolutely. They kind of like came before BeatStars for the most part. So, people go up there, battle, get their name up, like he was saying, and eventually, people started like, okay, it's Rockwilder. You got to be dealing with some dope producers. People started paying attention to what he was doing, and next thing you know, crews started to pop up and get all these big placements and whatnot. When you guys first started connecting, what was like the creative approach that you guys felt comfortable with at first? Because obviously dealing with a duo, a lot of times producers kind of work with themselves or in their room. As a dynamic, how did you guys kind of format your creative approach?
Oh, I think because it was more than just two of us at the time.
Okay.
Because before we was called the Futuristics, it was like five.
It
was like 5 or 6 of us.
Damn.
One of them is named Phonics. He did no role models for J. Cole. Mm-hmm. But it ended up just being me and him at the end of the day. Because everybody kind of drifted off and did their own thing. But that's pretty much how it went down.
Y'all stuck together.
Yeah.
What was it about each of y'all's styles that you were attracted to and made you want to kind of stick together?
Well, for me, Keys already was making beats and doing everything. I was kind of like the person that learned fast on the go. So I was already like, you're the guy. Like,
right.
And I'm going to learn and figure out like what my position is in the group. And that's kind of how we build, together.
Absolutely. So, you guys do this, I'm not sure if it's weekly, but you do, some IG, type of talk and conversation with new producers and creative, and you guys play a lot of your own stuff as well. How has social media and, other digital platforms kind of helped you guys even spread your name? 'Cause I know you just dropped a new tape. We'll talk about that next.
Yeah, it's like a marketing thing for us. He's real good at branding. Us like being around Nip, we didn't even care about branding at the time, but he was like, nah, it's about your name.
Right.
Like in the future, music ain't gonna like be the thing. It's your name that's gonna like matter.
Right. So you guys focus on the branding, Mike and Keys. People started identifying with y'all and tapping in. What was the first record you guys worked on together as a team that you placed with an artist? Was it the 50 record or close to it?
I'd say Redman.
Yeah,
Redman.
Did a Reggie joint, right?
Yeah,
it was on. Yeah, when he was like his last album on Def Jam.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in terms of like production styles, like what do you feel like you each bring to the table individually, but collectively it works?
I think I'm more like on the technical side, like as far as like mixing.
Right, sonics and shit.
Yeah, he's like really good with the artists.
Okay.
He has the relationships with the artists. He know everybody. He's like our manager. Okay. He's like the Mike and Keys manager.
Right. Double roles.
Yeah.
Right. So what about yourself in terms of style and like production style? How do you describe it for the most part?
I mean, really, we just because we're inspired by so much music and producers, so we just kind of create like free. Like we don't create like we're making this beat for this artist or doing that. We kind of just make a lot of music and just see what fits for the right artist. You know.
So as a duo, in terms of maybe handling more of the admin stuff and like reaching out to people, whatever the case may be, how do you juggle that when you guys are creating so much and being so active?
I just think we came in the music game where it was like you had to showcase what you were doing in front of the artist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It couldn't be like just sending beats. So we kind of learned on the go.
Right.
So it's just like now it's like an energy thing. Like you know what the artist is already feeling in the room before you even get started. Like even with playing music or like let's make a song, or it's like it's really an energy thing. It's not just about like how dope you are.
Right.
You know?
That's important. Let's talk a little bit about, we'll get into Nip in a minute, but let's talk about just, a lot of producers and writers are trying to get in the room, with a lot of artists and whatnot. Obviously try to elevate and find somebody maybe they can kind of either latch on to or be mentored by, whatever the case may be. When it comes to like new creatives and maybe bringing them kind of in your circle or whatever the case may be for whatever need you may have, whether it's a musician or a writer, what are you guys looking for? Like what type of energy, what type of vibe needs to happen before you like get involved with these guys and girls?
I think someone that's willing to do anything as far as like talent wise, like writing, if you could play an instrument, that's dope. Engineer, if you could do a little bit of everything, then you're good in my book. You know what I mean? Because you can multitask and do all that. So not a lot of people could do that.
It's funny because we were talking about earlier with Steve LaBelle and Matt. Like, you want to be a servant sometimes when you're in the room. You know what I'm saying? You want to be somebody who can provide assistance no matter what level you're at or whatever you're trying to get accomplished. But, like, having those extra skills, sometimes being a writer, producer, musician, vocal arranger, maybe you're a sync person, maybe you're a manager, whatever the case may be. Like, when you have all those skill sets, it's very hard to get kicked out of the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you're a cool dude. People that read the room properly understand, like, this is about these guys, but I'm here to kind of listen and learn. And if somebody asks me a question or I feel like I need to interject, I got to ask these guys first. Hey, it's cool if I say something. Or, sometimes people get in sessions and want to play their beats and it's their session, you know what I'm saying? So just understanding how to read the room and really having those skill sets so you don't get kicked out the room, being a servant as well.
That's the most important thing, actually, because, artists already feel a certain type of way about certain things, so you got to kind of come in and like with an open mind because it's about the artist. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely,
so it's like you got to kind of walk a thin line about being like,
you got to know what to say and when to say.
You got to read the room for sure.
For sure. Yeah, there's a very thin line. I don't know if you guys remember, there was an article a couple years back when Just Blaze did the record with Eminem off of the I think the Relapse album. It was like one of the bigger records. And Just was saying how, like, I didn't want to give him, like, any feedback that I thought he might not feel good about. Because I wanted to kind of redo some things, whatever the case may be. So he said something. And M kind of, like, was like, bro, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? This is Just Blaze. So Just felt a certain type of way. It's an internet thing. But that's an example of, like, those relationships, right? And being comfortable with the artist or the engineer even, and kind of giving them some direction and delivering it properly, right? So when you guys are actually in a session, what do you have around you? Who's with you? What type of vibe is it? Like, give us like a snapshot into a major session with you guys.
Well, definitely have a team with you.
Right.
Like, where's AC at?
He's right there.
He's part of our team.
Okay.
Like, he's like our secret weapon. He gives us all the sounds before anybody has them. So having somebody like him is very crucial to us. Having an engineer.
Can't have no song without, like, really the engineer is the most important person, because it's like you can make beats and shit all day, but if you don't have no songs, like, what if the artist is like, yo, I'm about to pull up right now and you don't have no engineer? If you don't know how to record, then you're not going to get no song. You might have missed a placement, a relationship. It'd be some simple shit like that, because a lot of the artists are like random. So they don't have no standard. Like, they might call you randomly, like, yo, what you doing? It's 2 a.m. and it's like, yo, what was those beats you were playing? And you got to either be ready or or so it's like, it's not no rules to be correct. You just got to be ready at all times. because you don't know when you're gonna get that call, and it's random, because the artists are random.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. What was y'all first like major session? Like you were like in the room with the artist and you were like, oh shit, like this is really going down. What was like one of the first things you can remember?
Exhibit.
Yeah, exhibit. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
What was that all about?
Well, that was a learning experience because we used to live with Exhibit's DJ.
Okay.
So they were like rapping on our beats before we were in the studio with them. So when we got to the studio, we was thinking, oh, this is gonna be a breeze. Like they're already be rapping on the beats. And then that didn't happen because like now we're there and it's like now they're, you know, it's like face to face. And like we learned a lot from Exhibit because he's a real artist, superstar. And like he would play beats and cut that shit off in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
We'll be like, damn, why you doing it? He's like, it's just, I didn't feel it from the jump. And so we had to learn that. And then we also had to learn like, sometimes you might play an artist some beats and it might not have been the right time. Right. You know, and we learned that, and then they'll come back like a year or two later and be like, "Yo, where's the?" It's just random,
right?
With the creative process.
Okay, let's talk about the Paris tapes. You got that out right now. What prompted you guys to put out an instrumental album and work with some of these other artists that you have on the album as well?
I think we just wanted to just showcase what we can do and what feels good to us. You know, like. We was just vibing in the studio, and we just wanted everybody else to hear what we was doing. Simple as that.
So, in terms of like the Paris tapes, have any like specific meaning or any type of like origin story behind the name of the tape?
I mean, like we love Paris first of all, and then like just the music, like we kind of intentionally wanted to make it feel like if you was like shopping in Paris, like a hip hop version of shopping in Paris. Okay. So that was like kind of the theme of what we was doing. And then everybody that's a part of the project, we all friends and everybody all hang out. So it was like an easy,
like let's work
from intro to outro. It was easy because we all be working together, and it's like, you know.
Who are some of the artists that are on the project with you guys?
Huey Briss, Buddy, Guap Dad, FLWRS.
Okay.
Smoke Dizza. A lot of new artists like Laren Wong. Like that's our thing too. Like we want to, you know, work with new artists. Like we don't care about none of that shit. Like how many followers. That shit is a facade. It's all about if the music is dope.
Right.
So that was kind of like how we kind of approached it. Like just creating, you know, free.
Truly. Let's dive right into just Nipsey Hussle in general. I was privy enough to be invited to host this panel, actually host an actual Q&A and conversation about the Victory Lap Reconstructed, I think it was called. We did it at Sound Academy, 1500 Sound Academy, if you guys know Rance and whole 1500 Nothing team. It's an amazing space, great school. So, you know, we jammed about damn near 120 people in like a small ass schoolroom, probably just not even much bigger than this right here. And we actually broke down about 75% of the album or so. You know, went through the producers, talked to Rance, talked to these guys, talked to the engineers as well. Just about the entire creative process. And we were just talking about outside, like this is when Nipsey was alive. Like the album had almost just came out, right? I think like a month before or whatever. We were like, Nip might actually show up, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, he knows everybody's going to be there. He might even just show up. But he actually never made it. But we had an amazing conversation. We had, you know, I learned a lot about that process because there were so many things in there that were so unique to like, you know, either conversations with Nip or like Rance knows he can make Nip rap, you know what I'm saying? Like if you guys had that more gentle approach and be like, let's just vibe out and open up and do like the Dedication record, probably got like 10 different versions, right? Yeah. Like at least like literally 10 different versions. And it took what, 8 years to make the record?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dedication, the record that I just played, started 8 years before it came out. Nip would go back in, you know, and rework things. Talk to everybody about that one record, Dedication, because I think there's so much to gain from that as a creative, and maybe they can kind of relate to what Nip was going through as well.
Well, I think Nip was one of those, like, first of all, he was the most difficult person to work with.
Okay.
Because his style was unorthodox.
Yeah.
So me and Keys would be working every day. He might come in the studio and be like, oh, I'm inspired today.
Right.
So we didn't know when he was going to be inspired. So, but the funny thing is when he was inspired, the lyrics were very important to what he wrote. So like a lot of the songs that he wrote and did, dedication, them songs were like 8 to 10 years old.
It's crazy.
So like we did a lot. Like we basically just until he was happy with the final product.
Right.
That's what that's kind of it's pretty much about the artist.
Right.
Like so we were trying to figure out how do we like what's the balance.
Right.
For him, like even like sending the song to Kendrick was like we didn't even tell him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We just sent the song to him, and then
he heard it.
and then he heard it. He was like, "You sneaky guys." So it's like that process. Like we had to use our trust to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Usually we don't do that, but in that process we had to do that.
Right. It's interesting because we spoke to Steve LaBelle today. And Steve was kind of the first advocate for Nip, and between Big U and just getting him involved and with people and new producers and whatever the case may be. And it's funny because I met Nip at this producer conference that I was a part of called the One Stop Shop. It was in Arizona.
I just told them about it.
Yeah.
With Shy Money, right?
Shy, yeah. So Shy reached out and they were like, you guys do all these producer events, why don't we collab on some shit? When I tell you we had the best of the best producers, you're talking about DJ Premier, Khalil,
High Tech,
Q-Tip, RZA, Swizz, DJ Khalil. I mean, it was like actually being like a
producer all-star.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like being at like Disneyland for producers. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody, and they were all there to you like Tony Yayo running up the middle of the aisle. Yo, I need beats for 50. Gets out tomorrow. Like people throwing fucking CDs in the bag. Some had no labels. Some were fucking misinformation. Whatever the case may be. But this was an opportunity that we had, and Steve brought Nip with him. So he was like, yo, like he always does, puts his arm around Nip and he walks around the room. Oh, by the way, this is Nipsey Hussle. He's the next big thing. Oh, yeah, like, no matter who it was, right? What excitement did you guys get out of working with Nip? What was the peak of like, yo, this is amazing what we're putting together? What was some of those experiences like?
I think it was just the belief, just the belief we had in Nip, man.
Yeah.
Just his presence. As soon as he walk in the room, you just know he's a star.
Mm-hmm.
Like as soon as you say what's up to him, you're like, yeah, he's about to be something.
Yeah.
You just knew it.
Yeah. And we knew it like 2007.
Right.
Just because he did a song with Drake, I think it like early, like 2008, 2009, and I remember Drake posting it. Yo, Nipsey Hussle was the hardest rapper out.
Yeah.
Twitter like a long time ago.
Drake
so I was like, yeah, Drake wasn't even, but I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, he's a star. And so I remember we used to send Nip beats. He would never rap on nothing.
Oh shit.
So from 2007 until 2013, Lawrence kind of reintroduced us and was like, you need to be working with them. And that's kind of how the relationship kind of started. And it was like, y'all gonna be my producers.
Wow. Right time, right place.
Yeah.
Right. Being good people, being servants, having certain skill sets. Shit all lines up at some point in an atmosphere. When it comes to like, putting together a project on that scale and dealing with all those different producers and creatives, how do you guys stay humble? How do you fit into that whole puzzle piece without either saying, oh, we've done all these records with people, or like, what was the vibes in general just creating that album, working with all those different people? You guys work with Khalil, you work with all these different producers.
I mean, really, it's just like when you create something that you like, this is our opportunity to bring in the producers and people that we like to be a part of it or do. Like us introducing Jake One to Nip was cool, and it was like the first day he met, Nip rapped on the beat that he gave him. So to me, I was like, damn, that's kind of tight, because Jake One's one of our favorite producers.
Absolutely.
So, and like, or having DJ Premier scratch on Sucker Proof and like stuff like that, you want to do for an album, or so we tried to do that. Like Nip was one of those people. He was like a person that had respect for the people before him, so he would reach out to maybe an engineer that had mixed the Chronic 2001. He'll hit him up and be like, yo, like, can you just come listen to the album? Or like Redman, or like, we had a lot of the OGs that were successful pull up and listen to the album and give their opinion before we even put it out. It wasn't like, yeah, we thought this was dope. No, we got a opinion from people that matter in music.
Yeah. He brought Sir Jinx
Okay.
Sir Jinx through.
Yeah.
With Sir Jinx, Ice Cube's being a producer. Years.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope. You know, in today's society, in regards to like collaboration, obviously we're doing a song camp. You know, a lot of producers and songwriters, we're trying to make them understand the importance of collaboration, but also when you get into bigger rooms and you do work with bigger artists, how you could, you know, utilize each other's skill sets and strengths and whatnot. When you guys would get in the rooms with some of like the icons, you guys like a Premiere or like what kind of interactions do you guys have with them? Like how are you showing your respect? How are you guys letting them know how you feel what's going on?
Oh yeah, we definitely, you know, pay our respects to guys like that because they paved the way for us to do what we do. So we always, you know, just be like, man, we look up to you guys.
Absolutely.
You know, from listening to y'all in high school, Gangstar.
Shit.
I remember when I met High Tech, man. I was just speechless. Like I couldn't even move because I'm such a big fan of High Tech.
Yeah.
Like that. What's that album? Reflection
Oh,
Eternal. Got me through high school.
Yeah.
So meeting him, I just gave him a hug. I didn't even know what to say. I just gave him a hug. You know, like respect,
cool
bro.
Dude, bro.
So that was cool.
That's amazing. I gave it up for my keys one time. What's the one thing you guys have learned along your journey as producers specifically that you kind of keep with you, and it's like your mantra almost, like with everything you do, either production wise or just in general? It's one of those things that really stands out for you guys that you may have learned over the years.
Just no ego.
Yeah.
We don't have no ego. Like, you know, we don't. Like, when you're creating music, like, you know, like, we came in the music game under 1,500.
Right.
Or nothing. And, you know.
Everybody know who Rance and 1,500 is?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a lot of them in the group. So,
Yeah.
when you're talking about collaboration, like, they would be in the studio with Jay-Z, be on, like, major artists and would be there. And they'd be like, yo, come in the room with us. And we'll be like, man, we not ready.
Right.
So we would go and be in the small room and try to make something that'd be like, yo, what y'all in there doing? That's kind of how we got our name. Like, we'd go to the smallest room or like, and kind of just earn it.
Yeah.
But we learned a lot really being around 1,500 or nothing. Rance, Brody, Mars, James, like, they really have worked with the biggest artists in the world and like hands-on. It's different, like giving an artist beats, but like actually being there, writing the song, recording, doing all that from scratch, and us seeing that, we was like, damn, we got to be able to do that, or we're not gonna make it.
Right.
So that we incorporated pretty much everything they was doing into our production. Just even just formatting a song is like is important.
Absolutely. If you guys don't know, 1,500 or nothing is like, I mean, they're like the GOATs when it comes to, like, they've backed up everybody from Jay-Z to Beyonce, like, band-wise, you know, as a band. They have, like a roster of, like, 30 different artists that, you know, they'll have on different tours. Usher needs something tonight for the Jimmy Fallon show. Okay. They reformat things, and they'll go up there and they'll perform the shit in, like, 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just when you're dedicated like that and you're really focused on your craft, because they had the school as well. They also advocate for young creatives as well. Like, when you have a vision and you really want to see it through, you know, sometimes you have to kind of push through and really put your heart in your sleeve sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because you want to be able to be, you know, confident in what you do, but you also want to be vulnerable enough to not have that ego and be somebody who they can come and speak to as well. So when you guys do your, you know, your IG lives, you know, playing beats and different things like that, what inspired that, number one, and number two, like, what are you guys actually getting out of that? Like, what do you feel after one of those sessions? And when I know we be talking on this sometimes.
Well, because man, when you be having people like Snoop Dogg and like big artists DMing you from the live, it's like, might as well go live,
right?
Because I don't know when I'm gonna see Snoop or any of the artists, but like we just got a placement on Busta Rhymes album from going live.
Wow.
So it's like we just kind of been doing that. If we can't get in the studio with them, you know, and it's random. We're just playing random shit, so we don't know what people like. But if they like it, they'll DM you. But I know Snoop started consistently hitting us up on live, so I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be going live.
Yeah, we gonna work.
And he's like super famous and like cares about the music.
Right.
So I'm like, man, he's always live. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I think that'll work for us.
That's dope. Yeah, it's part of it's part of like the way you present yourself and brand yourself now. I think people are really dialing into what you guys got going on, and plus you're also super approachable. You know, like I knew that from day one. Like we literally kind of sat down and started having a conversation about the album and shit, and it was just like we kind of all knew each other for forever. So I think that energy is super important when you're in the room with different people. Sometimes, again, like stepping out of your parameter could affect how that session even happens. You know what I'm saying? So how do you guys avoid the doing too much kind of thing, even as producers? How do you
we never
got it there? Is it
we never did too. That's one thing for us. We always is like we gonna super play our role.
Okay.
And kind of like, we was blessed enough to have a studio with DJ Quick,
right,
and Sir Jinx and Mailman. Wow. Those are 3 different type of producers.
Right.
So we learned studio etiquette, like just the basics, and that kind of helped us a lot. Like we really came under a lot of OGs in the game.
Okay.
So they was a little aggressive about how things are and how it should be. So that's kind of how we learned. But we always play our role, and we always come in with the humble approach of,
right,
we'll, if they call our name, we're ready. Right. We're not going in like, yeah, we got it, we're doing it,
playing off the cuff.
Yeah.
Let's open up the floor for a couple of questions. Then we're gonna get into the award ceremony portion of it. Anybody have any questions for you guys? Anything about production? Go ahead.
Hi, thank you guys for coming out. My name is Naomi. I was gonna ask, do you guys play any instruments at all? And if you did, what instrument would you play? If you want to learn.
Well, I play drums, but I would really want to learn how to play the guitar.
Play like piano and bass guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, we started picking up instruments just because we've always had musicians in the studio with us and in our sessions. So sometimes when they're not around, you want to be able to do it. So the best way to learn is just learn and practice. And then if you practice enough, you'll start getting better.
Right. And you have to rely on other people as well. You know what I'm saying? You do that shit by yourself. Yeah. Any other questions? Go ahead, Chuck.
Top 3 favorite beats that you guys have made.
Sheesh.
What it feels like.
Oh, y'all did that?
Yeah. Rap nigga.
Rap niggas.
They'll probably check me out, but all 3 of them gotta be Nipsey beats. Yeah.
Check me out.
They're all kind of different.
We gave Nipsey all of our best beats.
And he put them in his back pocket for like 5 years.
True story though, the What It Feels Like song and beat, Authentic was one of the, we played that he heard, we did that in 2012, 2013. Yeah. And Authentic heard the song with just Nip on it, and he was like, that song is gonna be super special. And it didn't come out to
2021.
Yeah, 2021.
Nip was there. Nip was there. I told him Nip, this is one of the hardest verses I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I would ask Mike every time, like, bro, what's up with that song? Like, I thought I was gonna go on Crenshaw.
In the vault.
And then Mike told me, he's like, nah, we putting that on our album.
Okay.
And then I'll be like, bro, can I at least hear it?
You played it for me one time, man. Really one time.
Yeah, so just to see. And I heard the real version, bro.
Yeah.
I heard the original version. Like, the version that's out is more like pretty. And the version I heard was more like hip hop,
gritty.
Like,
Pretty to gritty.
It had the same elements though, like the
word?
drums were the same, and it was like the same, like, but they made it pretty, like they made it like a masterpiece, like.
Yeah, it's very theatrical.
Yeah.
Like the way you guys layer in your sounds and how you present your music, almost kind of like theater or little miniature pieces of art. You know what I'm saying, where people can kind of, and you're so diverse as well. Like you've done those hard hip hop, boom bap. Like that's a. Bro, you from out here in LA?
I'm from Sacramento.
Okay.
California.
So you from Sacramento and y'all doing 50 Cent records with some boom bap elements,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So the diversity is also important as well. Any other questions back here? Go ahead, son.
What are your top favorite VSTs?
That's a good one.
Some nerdy shit, some tech shit.
I like East West. East West is dope.
You use Analog by V?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like Omnisphere. I know it's like
Yeah.
dated or whatever, but I still use it.
There's a lot of times.
Cool. Over here. All right, bro.
So like as a creative and writer, you find yourself making stuff, looking back at it, and it's like, that's not gonna make the cut right now. I used to throw stuff away, but now I just keep it. Do you ever find yourself creating things and be like, that's not it? And if you do you just discard it, or do you keep it for later and work on it to bring it back to life?
I let somebody else listen to it and see what they think. Because sometimes you be too hard on yourself as a creator. So you gotta let other people hear what you did.
Absolutely. Great point. Another question? Go ahead, Aaron. Miranda, go ahead.
When you guys were saying, like, when you were talking about live, I assume you mean like live streaming. So is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Just live on Instagram.
Okay,
Yeah.
so would you like? So I guess my question is there an equivalent of that for like writers and artists that you feel like is a good avenue for us using to connect with?
I mean, I always be like, in music, you just don't know the vibrant energy. You just gotta kind of shoot your shot and see what happens, you know? It's like, you gotta know when to do it, but if you know the energy is right, then shoot your shot. And you never know what happened, man. You can be in rooms. One thing I know about being in LA, if you have the right energy and say the right things, you could be in the room immediately.
That's a fact.
No matter who you are. So don't ever let nobody tell you nothing else. That's the truth. I've seen people get in the room. I'm like, how did you get here? So it's like, but I respect that and I love it because it's like, that's how bad they want it, you know?
Cool. Any question over here? Go ahead.
And you said some of the Nipsey Hussle songs, it took like 8 to 10 years to make. So how did you make sure that the beat kept the same feeling but it not sound dated at the same time?
Good question.
I think certain tracks Nip really loved and kept, you know, and then we would try to elevate them, you know, by bringing 1500 in and fixing everything, because that's kind of our formula. Like we would produce the record and then they would come in and
Finish it.
make it a masterpiece, like Authentic was saying.
Yeah.
That's why it sounded like that, because 1500 was involved.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and collaboration songs. What's that?
Do they do as much of like technical production?
Everything. It's just everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, yeah.
Cool. One more question. One more. Anybody?
I ain't got a question. I just want to vouch real quick if I can do so. And I'm not nobody special. I'm just me being here, being the energy. Everybody like y'all in the room. Me, I feel like I'm great. Like y'all feel like y'all great. But I humble myself amongst people that I feel like have already been there, established, and I go on their live. They don't even know this. I've been on their live 3 or 4 times. You wave every time someone comes in the room. Am I lying?
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
That don't make me feel like I'm anything special, but it make you like, damn, that nigga recognize I'm in the room.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It made me more comfortable to promote. So what did I do? I didn't pass it on to my people. Yo, they going live. Yo, they going live. Yo, they going live.
Yeah.
Your branding is where it should be. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. I just wanted to speak to that.
Appreciate
That's what it is.
And that's not the Henry talking. That's Bugsy talking.
So without further ado, go ahead. You got the last question. Go ahead.
So everything. By the way, hook my hair.
The beard got a little longer. We almost didn't recognize it.
Black Santa Claus.
Every song, everything that you've been a part of, and y'all have been a part of, y'all got amazing about your work. I don't know if this question has been asked already. Like, what's the one joint that you're still like, I can't believe I was in the room for this?
Dang, that's a tough one, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, dedication got to be up there. Right.
It's definitely one of the Nip joints, for sure. Because it's Nip.
Wait. So say it again. What you said again? I'm sorry.
So out of everything y'all cats have done, traveled the world and done amazing things with some amazing artists, what's the one record? Like, you know, I have a lot of partners who've done a lot of things, and a few of them have that one. I can't believe I was in the room for that. And it don't even have to have been something that was like a sweeping success. Just this record that is just renowned for being one of the best sounding joints ever.
I think it would have to be the song we did with Alchemist and Dr. Dre and Nip. because it's a crazy. It's a crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. So Nip, like I said, Nip was one of those people. Like everybody that we love Alchemist. So we never seen Alchemist work in the studio. So Nip was like, I'm gonna hit him. So like, side note, a lot of those beats that Benny the Butcher had, Nip had them first too. But
heard little rumors.
Alchemist, the first day he showed up, we wasn't there.
Oh shit.
So we was like, nah, this is not good. So Nip was like, I'm gonna have him pull up back studio. So he put up at like 7 a.m. in the morning and stayed at the studio all day, and we was vibing. He was like, yo, I got this crazy sample. It's already done. All y'all gotta do is put some drums on it. We were like, no way. So we did it and we played it, and he was like, it's cool. When we first did it, right? We was like, damn, kind of killed the spirit. Then we came back to it, and then Dre jumped on it. But we did another version, a different version, and then Dr. Dre jumped on it, and it was like, damn, we did a beat with Alchemist, with Dr. Dre and Nipsey on it. It was like crazy. So it'd probably be that.
Hey, pull that up right now.
Man, just the records these guys probably have that never actually made it to fruition, right? Like that's one of the biggest challenges I think when you get to a specific level, because sometimes it's like you're in the studio all the time, you're working all the time. Producers, artists coming in, you got all these records that are sitting on your laptop or whatever case may be. So like, just understand that's also a big frustration for creators in general. We don't really talk about much, but there's a lot of work that's done that nobody will ever see or hear ever.
And that's what made us start putting out instrumentals and putting out our music, because we like, man, just because they don't like the music don't mean it's not good. It's just not probably meant for that.
Right.
So instead of us like feeling some type of way about it, we just put out the music and give it to the people. And like, what's funny is we've been putting out instrumental albums, and those are getting placements now.
Okay.
So it's like, just put it in the air and just kind of see what happens.
Right. So without further ado, this is our 4th award of the day. We are giving my guys, Mike and Keys, their flowers today. Literally and figuratively. Flowers in the bag with some weed and shit like that, as well as their flowers because they're here and we want to show love. So this is the Creative Space Flowers Award for Mike and Keys, and it's the marathon continues. You know what I'm saying? Which is the motto. So this is for y'all. We appreciate all your contributions to the music. So take a couple quick flicks and then we'll close out.
Thank you, man.
You're brother. Appreciate y'all, man.
This is dope.
Yeah, come on, stand in the middle with the award. Give it to Keys real fast.
Yeah, let's get half in the middle.
In the middle, break it up. Okay. Stay right here.
Be careful, that thing heavy.
Yeah.
And make sure you tag pictures with these guys. It's Mike_N_Keys. So, and tag us also maybe just something you really preach and believe in.
Shoot, don't give up on what you believe in. You know, if you want to rap, if you want to sing, if you want to do whatever, you know, just continue to be yourself. Don't try to be like anybody else but yourself.
Right.
That's what I would want to tell you guys.
All right, Mike. What about you?
For me, I'm the hard work guy, so I believe in like putting in the work. I feel like that will overplay the talent every time. So if you really believe, you know, I heard someone, my dad used to always say this, but he used to be like, if Michael Jordan is working in the gym right now and he's the best player, what are you doing?
Right.
So that's kind of like the approach we have, like
Mamba mentality.
yeah, like just work hard and like put in the work like every day.
Right.
So that's what I would say, like if you can really put in the work, it really, how bad do you want it? It's like the success story is like the athletes that's like, I was the last guy on the bench, like and that's put in the work. You know, Tom Brady was drafted last.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, that's kind of the energy we have. So
absolutely. Y'all get it one time for my brothers, Mike and Keys, please. Appreciate y'all. Big shout out to Soph back there, help coordinate everything as well. You appreciate you, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all, man. All right. We're gonna actually, we're gonna start doing our press play. Y'all can head out. Unless you wanna hang out.